Good morning, YouTube viewers and subscribers. Today is yet another very special day. This video follows right on the heels of the quick look video that I just made on this beautiful Webra T4 60 engine. This will be the first attempt I've made to run this engine. So I have a tank of 5% Omega fuel here, and oddly enough I have a 10-4 prop mounted on here. Now the Webra instructions that I've got are, pretty poor quality, but the props on the chart or on the instruction manual are very easy to read, and it has some really strange sized props. It says 10-4 for running in, 10-5, 11-5, 12-5, and a 10-6. Very small props in my opinion for a 60 size 4-stroke engine, but that's what I'm going to use. I've got the 10-4 on here because in my quick look I determined that this engine looks to have some pretty low run time, so I'm going to treat it like it's brand new, and at least this first tank, run it pretty rich. I might tweak it a couple times, I'm not sure, but we'll see. Now I've got a Fox Miracle plug installed in here, and that's what actually came out of the engine. It was that type of plug, but the one I put in here is a little bit better condition. So without further ado, let's fire this thing up. Now, one thing real quick. I have been diagnosed that I have a back problem, and I'm really not supposed to be hand starting engines anymore. However, because of the size of this prop, I am going to attempt to hand start this engine. But from here on out, you're probably not going to see me hand starting engines anymore based on doctor's orders and the fact that I need my back to get better, and it's hurting right now. So let's get on with running this engine. Maybe I don't have it primed enough. Sounds primed now. It may take a little bit more prime. I didn't want that to go to full throttle like that. Okay, so I have this open 2 full turns from closed. I have not touched the low speed needle at all. Okay, so I had to take a little break here to check the carb settings. Probably something I should have done while it was on the table, but I didn't. I was just kind of under the assumption that it had been run and that the needles were set properly. So the high-speed needle, when I got it, was set to 2 turns open. The manual is somewhat hard to understand and somewhat hard to read, and I think it said that the starting point should be 1 turn open. It said like +1, whatever the hell that means. Maybe it said +-1, I don't know. Like I said, the quality of the manual I've got is very poor. So right now what I did when I set up a carb, which is what I should have done to begin with, is open it at full throttle, close the needle valve, blow through the tube until I hear what to me sounds like about the right amount of air flowing through it. Next I close the throttle to what looks to be an idle position, and I blow through it also, and I see if I can hear air still coming out. Obviously a much reduced airflow, but what I was hearing when I was doing that is anytime I went even close to half throttle, it was dying, as you saw. What I found here was that that idle speed needle was completely closed, I guess, or at least closed enough so that at half throttle there was no air going through at all. So right now I've got it set so that I've got the high speed needle set to 1 turn open. I'm not counting turns on the idle speed. I'm just setting it so that I still hear a little bit of airflow going through when it's at an idle position. That's how I've got it set now. So let's give this a shot again and see if I can actually go through the full range of RPM, focusing on keeping it at a low RPM for this first run. Operational. A little rich still, even though my pinch test seemed okay. Okay, so I'm dripping already. It's not that it's that hot out here, it's just so damn humid. So the first run was, I will call that a success, even though I had some issues initially trying to get it started. And then obviously the carb issues that I had documented in the middle of this video. I'm probably going to heavily edit this because it tended to be pretty long. And I know people don't like to watch super long videos, but it is what it is. So anyway, this engine runs. My next run with this engine will definitely not be with this prop. I'm going to at least an 11. Heck, I might just put a 12-inch prop on it. Just because, I don't know, even despite what they say. Oh, and in the instruction manual, the very first page, which is extremely hard to read because of the poor quality, zoom in really high, and I think I make out the RPM range specified for the engine, and I think it says 2 to 11,000. Now, this thing didn't even really sound that great when my tach was reading 10,000. Wow, my tach's got a big crack in the back of it. Time for a new tach. So, and I know that they said break-in prop 10.4, and they really wanted me to keep it around 3,000 RPM, I think, for the first run. It's not a new engine, it's not the first time it's been run. I really couldn't maintain 3,000 RPM. I didn't have it quite tweaked right. I'm just still trying to get the feel for how this engine operates and runs. So I'm going to put a 12-inch prop on it, I think. Probably put a 12.6 on it next run, so I can ensure that I keep the RPM down in a lower range. But as you can see, the engine runs, and it runs pretty damn good. I mean, once you get it tuned in properly, which is part of what my job is here. So anyway, thank you for watching, and look for a few more videos on this engine anyway.